Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday night LifeVantage webinar. My name is Gabe Pearson, and I have the honor and privilege of being your host tonight. I have been with LifeVantage now for, my goodness, close to 10 years. It's been an incredible journey. I want to welcome all of you that are brand spanking new to LifeVantage. I'm hoping you have the same journey that my family's having right now. And if you're a guest on tonight and you're hearing this for the very first time, love to welcome you as well. You're going to get an earful. We have an incredible guest tonight. My story, been in the fitness business my entire career. Started back in 1979. Making $2.13 an hour plus commissions, literally the best time of my life. If you really think about it, folks, think about when you started your career. You know, you had hopes and dreams and aspirations, just like I did. And mine were to own health clubs all over this country and literally make millions and millions of dollars. Fast forward 20 years, I own 3 large gyms here in Jacksonville. Certainly not complaining, very thankful for those gyms. But it took me those 20 years to figure out that I was still building somebody else's dream, but really I got tired of creating millionaires. The problem was the 3 gyms that I owned, I didn't own the property that they were on. Guess who made all the money? The real estate guys, right? Or the property owners. Didn't own the finance company, didn't own the leasing company. So finally, after 20 years, figured it out and walked away from the health club business. Started my own personal training company. It quickly morphed into a wellness company. I developed a nationally recognized program that reverses metabolic syndrome. So you can say we're, living the American dream for about 6 or 7 years. And then what happened to this country in 2009? I mean, economically, the bottom falls out, right? And we were a major casualty. All our eggs were in one basket. And we were in that corporate space. So we lost 3 6-figure contracts in 30 days. And it literally brought us to our knees. I mean, folks, we were on the wall of worry. When one door starts to close, another one seems to open. I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. I was asked to be a keynote speaker, and I traveled up to Atlanta. The reason was to try to drum up more business, try to retool my company. And I'm speaking to a large corporate group about what I do. And after my keynote, a complete stranger had the courage to walk up to me and ask me if I've ever heard of this product called Protandem. And I tell this to everyone. In the 30 plus years I've been in the fitness business, I've never endorsed a product. And at that moment, this one wasn't going to be the first. But the next thing came out of that woman's mouth, literally, folks, retired me from that 30-year career in 22 months. And what she said was, would I be willing to watch a 9-minute video on an ABC Primetime investigative report? So for those of you that are guests on this webinar tonight, if you haven't seen the ABC Primetime, just watch it when you're finished with this webinar. You can just go to YouTube and type in ABC Primetime Protandem update. But even though it's still outdated, it gives you a little bit more information, okay? And you're going to find out why I was so excited when I saw this world-renowned scientist, who, by the way, never even heard of before, gives John Quinones his blood test results. I'm elbowing my wife. I'm like, honey, that hasn't happened yet. This is history in the making. And if we can validate this, I think we're on to something. 22 months later, folks, right in the last payroll check. And that was nearly 8 years ago. So tonight, you're going to find out about a new paradigm in health called nutrigenomics, the activation of pathways, really sexy words in my opinion. But tonight, I couldn't think of a better person to bring on. This guy is dynamic. He's passionate. He's extremely excited. I have his bio right here. He's been in general practice in Jacksonville since 1975. He has a passion for golf, and he became a volunteer for the TPC, the Tournament Players Championship, since 1976. Then he was asked to become the physician for the President's Cup in the mid-90s, and did that until 2017. He's been involved in various charitable activities, including being the past chairman of the Players Championship, chairman of the board of the First Tee of Jacksonville. That's for young upcoming kids who play golf. He was elected into the University of North Florida Athletic Hall of Fame. And also, he was the first doctor to sign a contract with the hospital in the Jacksonville area way back in 1984, being the first doctor allowed to practice with DOs in the state of Florida. Please welcome Dr. Buster Browning. Dr. Browning?
Good. How are you tonight?
Good. That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking, as long as we've known each other, I can't believe we haven't played golf together yet. What's up with that?
Well, probably because you and I run in different days we can play.
Well, I really, really appreciate your passion for golf, what you've done for golf on the highest level, and what you're doing for these up and coming kids with the First Tee, which is a very, very successful a nonprofit here in Jacksonville. Well, listen, we go back a while, you know, when it comes to this product. Just kind of walk the viewing audience, let them know how you found out about it, and just kind of bring them up to speed from when you found out to where you are today.
Okay, I'm going to say one thing before I get started. I'm excited about all the lives that we've impacted in the PGA Tour and the First Tee and UNF, but I'm more excited about how many lives we can impact and make them healthier with our products. That's what's so exciting about this event.
Well said.
My story is I had a patient of mine, Bob Triglia, whom a lot of you know, came to my office and wanted to run an oxidative stress level in 2010. And I'm sitting there and say, okay, what is that? So he kind of explained to this old dumb doctor this new science. So we called the company to find out what we needed to do. We ran a blood test, and his was a toxic level of about 14.5, 10 being the maximum toxic level for this oxidative stress. He took Protandim, and he showed me what it was, and I said, that's nice. And he took it for 2 months. We ran the levels again. It dropped to a 7, so he dropped about a 43 to 45% oxidative stress down to a normal level. Having known Bob since he was 14 and his family physician up till today, I looked at him and I said, you have just changed your biological markers for disease in your family by 45%. Don't ever stop taking it, and I want to take it. Now, 2010, I didn't have enough sense to get involved with Protandim as a distributor because I was not sure what it was going to do. Over the next 10 years, almost 10 years, I developed prostate cancer 7 years ago, which was very mild, but I was treated. And 2 years ago, I had a stent put in, 75% main artery, but all the rest of my arteries were normal. And I was up in the mountains spending my 70th birthday and started thinking, my father had a massive heart attack at age 61, and he died of 71 of prostate cancer. And I said, what's the difference? I have the same gene pool. The difference was I was taking Protandim. And so with that, I decided to go back and re-research the literature, which Bob had given me over the years, looked at 23, I think, peer reviews, had an aha moment and said, you know what? Everybody in my family ought to be taking this, and everybody in my practice ought to have the option to know about this so that they can be healthier. And that's how I got involved. Now, with that being said, over the last 2 years and a half, about almost two and a half years, I've been involved with this company and with Gabe and all our upline. And I can tell you one thing, I have never seen anything like this in medicine. This is the cutting edge of medicine, just like stem cell science. We are the other edge of that sword. And if you're not on board, you're really not paying attention to what our science shows. We're going to talk about the science. We're going to talk about NRF1 and 2. We're going to talk briefly about NRF2 because it's been around forever. It's our flagship product. It was developed by Dr. Joe McCord and released around 2000, I believe. It took him 35 years of science and research after he proved that all cells had free radicals in them, how to get rid of them. The free radicals, if you'll think about this, is the same thing as if I took a gasoline engine and put it in a room and closed all the doors and did not have an exhaust system. With that, all of a sudden the engine runs and fumes get in the room and there's no way to get rid of them. So the fumes become toxic, and over a period of time, the engine's going to start running inefficiently, it's going to misfire, and it's going to quit. That's the three aspects of aging and disease: misfiring, running inefficiently, and quitting. You think about somebody with diabetes, they either don't have enough insulin, the insulin they make is not the right insulin, or there's no insulin aboard. Same thing. So with that, Protandim NRF2 stimulates 3 enzymes inside of your body to produce antioxidants. And we now know that the antioxidant program is this. Protandim regulates 500 genes in the gene pool, which are directly related to anti-inflammation, anti-fibrosis, and antioxidant production. Now you say, that's a nice thing. What does that mean? Well, free radicals are formation of proteins which cause inflammation. They're pro-inflammatory genes that cause scars and fibrosis. Those are things you don't want, and those are the things that cause you to have disease. This is a disease process in the making. So when you're born, you have enough antioxidants on board to take care of the free radicals you get exposed. When you start breathing, as Gabe has told you in the past, you start dying. The problem is, if we don't get rid of the free radicals, we age and we die faster. I'm not interested in that. I'm 72 this year. I'd like to see Gabe at 144 and say, now what I do. But anyway, so you start making free radicals and you start making antioxidants to get rid of them. When you get to age 20, the free radical production is almost equal to the antioxidant production that your body can make. After age 20, because of all the toxins, the fumes, the food we eat produce makes more and more free radicals to the tune of millions per second that bombard your cell. And you say, well, so what? Do you remember a Coca-Cola bottling plant? And you go there and you see all these thousands of bottles that go through there, and the machine all of a sudden pulls one bottle out of the pool and says, this does not have a cap on it, the label's not right, or it's not filled right. That's what your immune system does to cells in your body. It tells the products and says, this cell is wrong, I'm getting rid of this cell. This cell doesn't look right, I get rid of this cell. But what happens is when you get into a toxic environment, that machine starts misfiring, and it doesn't recognize an abnormal cell or an abnormal bottle cap or abnormal fill, and that cell is allowed to go past and reproduce. And that's where you find the basis for all of your disease, all of your cancers and stuff that we're finding is oxidative stress related to that. And so Protandim has been proven scientifically to lower the free radical level in your body and every cell by 40% in 30 days. This is scientifically proven. This is not something we're telling you. You can look up the literature. National Institute of Health has 24 or 25 now peer reviews on our products, and you can look at this and say that we do what we say we do. It also supports cellular repair and rejuvenation process, as you see here, and it increased the median lifespan of male mice by 7% in the National Institute of Aging study, which was a 10-year study. And if you look at the Protandim ABC prime time, Keonis refers to the fact that they're just starting research. That was 2005. 2016 is when they came out with the evidence saying that Protandim was the only product that they studied that actually expanded life expectancy. That is huge for a one pill product.
Now, Dr. Browning, just we have some people on tonight that are brand spanking new, and they're probably wanting to know some simple questions. And I'll just ask the questions, and you just answer them.
Okay.
Is it safe to take?
Absolutely. There are 5 naturally occurring products in the world. You can look them up. They have no side effects. Even the coloring and the product that's put together have no side effects that we know of.
Now, since you're with the PGA Tour, can professional athletes take this product without failing a drug test?
Yes, it's been cleared by the BSCG and the NSF, saying that this product is legal for all levels of competition.
Now, you've been mentioning peer-reviewed science. There's a lot of people, including myself, when I started, I had no idea what peer-reviewed science is. Can you just kind of help them understand? I had the slide for you right here. You know, what is PubMed, you know, and help them understand, you know, what a peer-reviewed study is.
PubMed is a website that anybody can go to and look up any disease or any aspect of research and science and look into what you want to find out about. The interesting thing is all of these studies are not funded by our company. They're independently studied by Ohio State, Harvard University, Colorado State. You see the list. And all of these schools and institutions came to us and said, we want to study this without our being involved. So there's no bias about, you see sometimes drug companies do studies and they're funding the study. Well, if you don't come out with the right aspect, you may not get refunded. The point with this is there's 27, I think now, Gabe, peer reviews in the literature that study our product independently of us having anything to do with it. And all of them are positive for what we have said, that the reversal of oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days, which over a period of time has a huge impact.
Let me ask you this, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'll just forget it, you know. Is it unusual to have a dietary supplement to have this much research behind it?
Yes, and I'll tell you why that is. If you look at a lot of the products available today, and they have testimonials that I took X, Y, and Z and I got better, we have the studies that say I took Protandim was studied and the outcomes are this. It's a huge deal because unless you think there is definitely a endpoint that's going to be positive, you're not going to do an independent study because this costs millions and millions of dollars.
Now, you had mentioned the 5 ingredients. Now, what if someone says, well, hey, Dr. Browning, you know, I take turmeric. I know how important that is for anti-inflammatory benefits. And I take green tea, you know, for anti-cancer and milk thistle to detoxify my liver. You know, what if someone says, well, I'll just go get the other 2 and, you know, it will be the same as taking Protandim?
Well, this is why we have a patent on our product, is when Joe McCord went to the FDA to get it patented, they said, well, you have 5 common ingredients, and so we can buy over the counter, you have to prove why this is different. So he took and studied each one of these products and showed that each one of them had a one-to-one relationship. In other words, if I took 100 units of turmeric, I would produce 100 units of an antioxidant which would bind with the bad guys in the inflammation category and get rid of 100. But this is a one-to-one basis. McCord, and he'll tell you to this day, accidentally found a formula that synergistically puts all these products together and proved that it boosts the immune system production of antioxidants by 1,000,000 times per second, more than what you can do naturally. So yes, you can take all these others, but I tell people this: why would you take 5 different products and get a one-to-one relationship when I can give you one product and give you 1,000,000 to 1 efficacy that works better and has been proven scientifically not to have any side effects?
Not to mention it's cheaper, but folks, think about this. What team do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the one and done team? Or do you want to be on Dr. Browning's team, the 1 to 1,000,000 team? So that's what Dr. Browning and myself are so excited about. And if you really think about what Dr. Browning said, taking antioxidants, folks, are a thing of the past, because making them is the future. You know, so it's safer for your body, it's more efficient, and it's a better tool. So put your entrepreneurial hats on for a minute, folks. That is, you know, what we're excited about. And what we need is we need people like Dr. Browning and his credibility and his integrity over these last, 35, 40 years to help us to understand the difference between taking them and making them. So that's what's so exciting. Now, Dr. Browning, on this next slide, Washington State University. So, they're talking about what Protandim is, an NRF2 activator. Just really briefly, can you just kind of help everybody understand what NRF2, and just read what Washington State University said on that? I highlighted that because my jaw dropped when I read that study.
Well, NRF2, which may be able to become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in history in medicine, is very true.
Wow.
Now, NRF2, we now know is an upregulator of 500 genes in the gene pool. And these 500 genes are regulators of anti-inflammation, anti-oxidation, and anti-fibrotic. So if you'll think about the Protandim as a dimmer switch, when you take Protandim, it goes into your cell system, stimulates the NRF2 system to go to work 1,000,000 times more per second than what you can do naturally. And what it does is, if you'll think about this, it upregulates antioxidation, anti-fibrosis, and anti-inflammation, while it downregulates the pro-fibrotics, the probiotics, and the pro-inflammatories, and the probiotics to make you a cleaner cell. A cleaner cell working more efficiently decreases your aspects of turning those cells into disease cells.
Now, would you say that for the layperson, because I mean, all those big words, my eyes are all cross-eyed now, saying it like this, and tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right. Getting what Protandim does when it stimulates that pathway, it simply gets your own body to do its own work.
That's
what
right.
Your body was meant to do for the first 20 years of life. And that's
good.
Make those good guys that you're talking about.
And it did naturally.
That's the key.
That's the most important thing. This is not a drug. It's not touted as a drug. It's a dietary supplement. They're all clean products. It's made scientifically with the breakthrough that he's done. And so you are getting an upregulation 1,000,000 times more per second than what you can do externally. And you can't take enough oranges to do what a Protandim does in one day. I think it's 254 oranges you'd have to take a day.
Or like 10 pounds of blueberries or something like that.
Yeah. So, if you're concerned about your health and you're here because somebody said, I really want you to learn about this science, listen, because it's so important. If you want to be healthy and you want to live a healthy, longer life, take Protandim and take the Protandim 1 and Protandim 2. We're going to talk about 1 in a minute.
Okay.
But
And folks, Dr. Browning schooled me on this before we got on, and it may have slipped his mind. We are certainly not saying that this product treats, mitigates, prevents, or cures any disease.
that's right.
What we're saying is this product reduces oxidative stress, which is how and why we age on a cellular level, and a major contributing factor of how we get diseases by 40%. So it slows that process down. And that is a incredible statement that no other product have ever been able to make. So again, put your entrepreneur hat up, because that's going to be what I'm going to be talking about tonight. Imagine, I'll just ask you this, Dr. Browning, what if you're the only doctor in the world? Is that a good thing, or is it a bad thing from a financial standpoint on your end? You know,
a great financial standpoint if I could have the stamina.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to retract fast enough, because you're going to have people at the door 24/7. And
That's
folks,
right.
that's what I saw. I saw an opportunity, with no competition. And then I guess the thing that closed the door for me was the ABC primetime news piece, So I'll get into that a little bit later, but I wanted to kind of let that start sinking in your head on why we're so excited. Obviously, Dr. Browning comes from the perspective of helping people. He's been doing that for 40 years. I have been in that space, but not to the extent that he has. I've been in the fitness business helping people for 35 years. But also I saw it as a way out of my, financial debacle that happened in this country in 2008, 2009. And I honestly only got involved with this business just to keep my kids in private school. Never thought it was gonna retire me. Well, Dr. Browning, let's get into Protanim's brother or sister, however you want to look at it, NRF1. And I've got a slide here for you, and just kind of help everybody understand, this is a different pathway, right? Because it's not NRF2. So what's the difference between, that protein messenger NRF2 that upregulates antioxidant, antifibrotic, and anti-inflammatories? What does the NRF1 pathway do?
Okay, the NRF1 pathway shows stimulation to the DNA to make a repair, produce, or make better your mitochondria. Now, mitochondria, if you remember from your science, are responsible for producing energy. I call them the battery packs of every cell. 90% of the energy that you get in any cell in your body, so that's your whole body, including your brain, comes from the mitochondria. If you took all the mitochondria and took them out of your body and weighed them, they would be 10% of your body weight.
Wow.
Well, think about this. Wow. If I got 10% of my body weight, that's my battery pack, and all of a sudden my battery pack starts going bad, guess what happens to me? I lose energy, I lose production, and etc. We know that the cells regenerate about every 7 years, and it makes an original copy from the DNA. Now, this is important to understand what NRF1 does. If you would think about making a photocopy of Gabe and myself tonight, and then you reproduced it on your copier, and then you took the copy and made a copy and made a copy and made a copy. If the first copy was a little bit fuzzy, the 10th copy is going to be where you can't see it. And that's exactly what happens when mitochondria start losing their energy, start losing their structure, and they start degenerating. All of a sudden, your body starts making inefficient mitochondria, and there comes your disease process. We know that mitochondrial dysfunction, abnormal function of the cell, is related to, but not limited to, and I'm going to give you a list of diseases that you're familiar with: Parkinson's disease, muscular dystrophy, atypical learning disabilities, chronic fatigue syndrome, Alzheimer's, Lou Gehrig's disease, autism, cerebral palsy, and cardiomyopathy. Now, when you think about that, this product that we make stimulates the DNA to rejuvenate and make bigger and stronger the mitochondria. Therefore, that cell dysfunction that you're seeing in these diseases stops, or at least we know that it stops the process. Whether it affects these diseases or not, we can't say that. All we know is that we know the destruction's there. We know that we can repair the destruction. You can deduce your own logic from that. So we're not saying that we cure, mitigate, or change anything about diseases. We know now from replication and destruction of mitochondria that the replication era due to mitochondrial dysfunction is, we're now thinking, is becoming some of the research for some of the cancers that we see. So this is a huge, huge brother to NRF2. Now, if you put these two together, NRF1 and 2, we are now what you call the biohackers of aging. And if anybody asked me what product I would take out of everything we take, I'd said at least NRF1 and 2 if you want to be healthy and reverse the aging process.
Now, I'm going to dummy this down, okay? So for some of you out there, what did he just say? I mean, we all know it's important. It's good for the body. We need to be on it. But let me just ask you something really simple, all right? Who out there could use a little bit more energy? Who out there could use a little bit better sleep, like REM sleep? That's what this product does, folks. So you take NRF2 and NRF1. I mean, put an S on your chest. You know, you're Superman, Superwoman. You know, and Dr. Browning, I see the ingredients on the bottom of the screen, which are very, very impressive. Alpha lipoic acid, which was one of those 5 supplements that was tested to see if it extend life. Wow. Coenzyme Q10, grape extract, quercetin, and acetyl L-carnitine. Now, does this NRF1, is it the same science? Do they work synergistically together that changes that chemistry to activate that NRF1 pathway?
Absolutely. They do the same thing. You get the one-to-one relationship, putting them together synergistically boost that NRF1 system also.
That's awesome. So folks, I mean, I've taken some notes when he was talking, you know, and I'm going to say this again, taking antioxidants are over, making them's the future. It's the fundamental approach to solving, though I'm using the word solving, oxidative stress in a way no one else is doing. Having your body make antioxidant enzymes to protect your body is the future. And that is so, so exciting. So Dr. Browning, thank you so much for your expertise on this new science, this nutrigenomics. And folks, like he said, Nutra is food and genomics is gene expression, turning down your bad genes and turning up your good genes. And it's done without medicine. No drug-on-drug interactions. When you take, basically, it's like eating a salad, right? 5 plants. So let's talk about the company and let's talk about the opportunity here. Because I tell you what, not only are we changing lives from the health standpoint, from a physiological standpoint, but also a financial standpoint. And just real quick, because I put this slide up on purpose, Dr. Browning just talked about our 2 activators, the NRF2 and NRF1. Well, we also have 19 other products, but 2 other products specifically makes up what we call the vitality stack, our core 4. And you can get with the person that invited you to this webinar tonight, and they can go through what separates our probiotic from everyone else's and our Omega Plus. But to kind of help you to understand why Dr. Browning has put his precious name on this company is this Vitality Stack is really gaining momentum. It's a little over a year old, and the world's taking notice. And if I'm just going to not read the entire paragraph down here, but it basically says that we just won what we call this Stevie Bronze Award in the service of health and pharmaceuticals category. Now, obviously, we're not a pharmaceutical. It's a nutraceutical, as Dr. Browning said. There's an International Business Award, folks, that's equivalent to the Oscars. And you have these incredible scientists that test all these products. This particular award was tested with products in, actually, it was 3,900 products in 74 countries, and we're one of the best in the world. That's why Dr. Browning is so exciting. So, for me, not having any competition, all right? So think about what you do for a living. I don't care if you own a dry cleaners or if you're a personal trainer or you're a doctor, you're an attorney, you're an accountant. If you have no competition, that's a good thing, right? Now, with us, we have no competition, but now what we sell is literally rated the best in the world. Does it make it a little bit easier to build a business? That's what we have here, folks. Now, getting to, and those are all the other products, but we just don't have time to go into them tonight. And we're not going to watch this video. I apologize. But let's talk about LifeVantage. I think what Dr. Browning, what was really simple for him to put his name on this company was because it's publicly traded, which simply means everything's transparent. Everything that came out of Dr. Browning's mouth tonight, he cannot embellish. Because all of us, because it's a publicly traded company, we can dot the I's and cross the T's on what he said and see whether there's some truth behind what he said or whether there's some embellishment. That's what I love about the company. I love the fact that we have something, folks. Now listen to me very carefully. We have something that we wasn't supposed to have. This company did not start out as a network marketing company. It started out as a biotech company. All of us could have bought this category creating flagship product, NRF2 Protandem, as far back as 2003 in a GNC store. And the company failed miserably. Stock dropped all the way down to 7 cents. And to give you an idea, when that ABC primetime news piece came out, stock went all the way up to $22. The problem is the ABC primetime piece only played once. So people tend to forget, or a majority of the people have never seen it. And if Dr. Browning and I walked into a GNC store, one of the few places that you can purchase it from a retail model, with all due respect, I don't want to put down anyone who worked at the GNC store, but that person behind that counter could not tell Dr. Browning or myself the difference between a direct antioxidant and an indirect, as Dr. Browning explained to us tonight. And then if we happen to see it on the shelf and it said reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. Now, with the exception of Dr. Browning, but the average person like you and I, that's not a doctor, we would think we don't need the product because we're not stressed out, right? Because the word stress was in there. Just understand this. You didn't hear Dr. Browning talk about emotional stress at all tonight. You heard him talk about how and why we age on a cellular level and a major contributing factor of how we get diseases. So here you have this category creating product, and nobody was buying it because they didn't understand what it did, all right? So the company was one signature away from going belly up. Thank goodness they hired a consultant. The consultant says, come on, guys, this is an easy fix. Take it out of the retail world. Store shelves can't talk back, right? They can't sell, right? Put it in the oldest form of marketing. Basically what Dr. Browning has done in Jacksonville, he has built an incredible, practice in Jacksonville by word of mouth, by under promising and over delivering. And that's how most people in this country builds their business, through relationships, storytelling. So what I want all of you to understand, when it was in the GNC stores as far back as 2003 to 2009, now listen to me very carefully, the company never exceeded 3 million in revenues a year. The minute we took it out of the retail world and put it into our hands, the company grew from 3 million to just under $250 million in a few short years. Just by what we're doing tonight, we're educating you on the difference between direct antioxidants can only kill one bad guy, and antioxidant enzymes kills 1 million per second. Which one do you want, right? So that's what I find fascinating. We have something that we wasn't supposed to have. The doctor or the scientist who came up with these 5 ingredients studied in a lab for 40 years to make this thing happen. And what all of us can do tonight, we can carve out a piece of that 40 years and put it in our back pocket. I love that, right? Also, I love the fact who's behind the helm, who's driving this incredible ship. His name is Darren Jensen. And you can Google him if you want. What he's doing in this industry is actually, he was nominated to be the CEO of the CEOs in this industry, to guide them and direct them on how to make this industry bigger and stronger than what it is right now. And that's who's running this ship. So what I've seen from him in the last 3.5 years is he's turned this small little, NRF2 company into a nutrigenomic company in those 3.5 short years. And if you go to Yahoo Finance and you type in our stock symbol, you can see it on the screen, LFVN. Just read our pro forma. You're gonna find that this company is projected to be in over 100 markets. And right now, we are actually in 21. 15 of them, we can sell distributorships. So the flags on the bottom row, we just opened up Ireland a couple of weeks ago. We'll be opening up Belgium this month. We just opened up Spain last month. So these, Italy, France, Austria, New Zealand, and the Dominican Republic, we can sell these incredible products to them as customers, just not as business partners yet. But think about what I just said. The company is going to be in over 100 markets. So put your entrepreneur hat on. There's nowhere to go but grow. I started with this company when there was only an American flag there, and we only had one product. And you heard Dr. Browning say that there's over 24 peer-reviewed published studies on this product. When I started, there was 3 studies, and there was only 1 patent. Today, there's 12 patents. So I've watched this company grow from 1 country to now being in 21, from 3 million in revenues to just under $250 million. And for those of you that are on here tonight, and you've never heard the terms, the activation of pathways or nutrigenomics, or as Dr. Browning said, biohacking the aging code, those terms are coming with us or without us. This is a new paradigm in health that's coming. This is not, a Me Too product. This is not a weight loss shake, which, has it lasts about 50 days until there's a new flavor that comes out, right? So it's a new paradigm in health, and we're first to market. So think about companies that were first, and where are they today? That's what excites Dr. Browning. That's what excites me. It's going to be huge. And what's fascinating, folks, is the industry has completely changed. Okay, think about what these companies are doing today. I mean, Uber is known as the largest taxi cab company in the world, right? They don't even own a taxi cab, folks. What was their maintenance bill on their taxi cabs last month? Zero. They're building networks. That's what we do. Because the advent of the internet, what we're doing tonight, and we've got people internationally on here. We've got people in the Netherlands and Germany and Spain on this webinar tonight. And we're in Florida. We've got people in California up to Maine on this webinar tonight. So you're able to build a business exponentially faster than traveling up there and spending all that time and money, right? How much money did Airbnb, spend last year buying property? So you know what these companies are doing? They're removing the brick and mortar. By the way, they didn't spend any money. All right. They're using our homes, the buildings that we own, right? So think about what Amazon's doing. I can remember Amazon was just a book place, just go buy books, now it's putting retail stores out of business. All these companies were first to market. We're first to market, folks. So what I want all of you to understand, if you have these negative connotations about network marketing, you better reevaluate what you're thinking, because this is third generation network marketing. This is not about, inventory and having products stored up to your garage ceiling because you can't get rid of it. Dr. Browning, what he has in his home is what he consumes. What I have in my home is what I consume, right? So it's a new business model. And I'll be sharing that with you, okay? So I want everyone to understand that because of the internet, you're able to build your business exponentially faster. And you're able to build your business through social sharing. Now, with the age of Dr. Browning and the age of myself, we're still going to predominantly build this business word of mouth. The relationships that we've developed with, friends of ours over the years. But today it's a whole nother way of building. You have an app on your phone, and you can build your business on this smartphone, or a laptop. It's social sharing is what it is. And basically what this app is, it's artificial intelligence. This company has spent millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's not perfected yet. It's in the making right now. So it's not a finished product yet. You can operate, you can build a business, but there's so much more to add. But it's the app doing everything for you. In other words, if you were just interested in the product, and I'm just going to send you a link about the 2 products that Dr. Browning talked about tonight, the app will do everything else for me. The app will know when you watch the video, how much of the video that you've watched. It will take the process to get you to put these 2 bottles in the cart and order it and have it delivered to your doorstep in a few days. Welcome to the new world of business, okay? Also, in addition to social sharing, this is what your replicated site will look like. So you've got anything and everything you need to build. And by the way, it costs nothing monthly. I just found out today that there's, I'm not going to mention the company, but they had to spend money every month to have their replicated site. We're spoiled and didn't even know it. And that's what the cart looks like. So it's a really new way of doing business. This is what I want to share with all of you tonight. The reason why this industry is the second largest industry in the world, only second to oil and gas, is because the advent of the internet. It's growing by tens of billions of dollars a year. 2018 is not even out yet, but it's over 200, billion. To kind of give you an idea, a reference, the NFL is a $7 billion industry. We're a $220 billion industry. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary, and I heard some numbers. We've already had $1.6 billion in sales in those 10 years, and 700 million of that 1.6 billion came back to us. Folks, that's a 40% return on our investment, okay? And there's been over 23 million bottles sold in those 10 years already. And most of you that are on this webinar tonight are clueless, had no idea what the activation and pathways are. Now, this is what makes this industry so doable. Dr. Browning, I know you've had your practice for a while, but ballpark, let's say a doctor opened their practice 5-10 years ago. What's the ballpark number? How much would it cost to get a doctor up and running on his own to have his own practice?
I would dare say maybe $100,000 to $250,000.
Yeah, just folks, think like a franchise. In Jacksonville, Florida, 1 million people, North Florida, not even the nicest part of Florida, it's $750,000 to open up a McDonald's or a Starbucks. Who's got that kind of money? And who wants to wait 20 or 30 years to pay the loan back? You see what I'm saying? So what are most people doing in this country? And I'll tell you what the number is, 93%. They're trading time for money. They're building somebody else's dream because they just don't have the means. So another great thing about this industry, the little guy like me, the guy that can get somebody in shape, I can own my own business. I can own my own distribution company. I can be a Mr. Starbucks. Think about that. Folks, we're in the business of building a network. That's all we do. And we get customers and we get business partners, okay? And the cost, it's low barrier entry. We have 3 different ways of coming in. And by the way, since we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary, the price of our starter kit, which is $50, they're going to give that to you free, a free gift as a 10-year anniversary gift. So normally the $350 silver pack is now $300. So you're buying literally $300 worth of products for 20% below wholesale. There's no risk, is my point. Worst case scenario, as Dr. Browning says, you're going to become healthy and you make no money. That's worst case scenario, right? When I opened my first gym in 1987, I didn't have $500,000. I signed a personal guarantee, which I'll never do again, meaning I basically told the bank, if I don't pay that $20,000 a month loan, you can have my house. Now that's a risk. $300 to make me healthy, there's no risk. You with me? Now, if you have a bigger family or if you have a bigger sphere of influence, you might want to come in on the gold pack. The gold pack is $650. You can get it for $600. You're buying $600 worth of product at 25% below wholesale. So you get a little bit of a better deal. Now, if you come in the same way that I did or come in the same way that Dr. Browning did, because our sphere of influence is a little bit bigger. More importantly for me, it's not so much the sphere of influence like him. It was just, I asked my mentor, what's the best pack to come in? He just said this, do you want to make the most amount of money for the least amount of work? I'm in. So I came in on the 1,250. You can get it for 1,200. And by the way, that special lasts until June 30th, okay? So if you come into the $1,200 kit, you're buying $1,200 worth of product at 30% below wholesale. So as a business partner, you can make $100 that week. Somebody comes in on the 300. You can make $200 when people come in on the 600, or you can make $400 that week if you come in on the 1,200. That's a 40% commission. Now, for those salespeople out there, do you get 40% of what you sell? Now, that 100, 200, and 400 is a one-time, commission. You know, we didn't get involved with this business to be paid once and then got to turn around and do it again. We want to do something one time and get paid again and again and again. And that's what this business is all about. So this is what I saw, because I had a wellness company that did $1 million a year. And within that year, my payroll was $50,000 a month. So what's 50,000 times 12? 600 of the million, more than half, went to payroll. That doesn't count insurance, leasing, legal, marketing. I can go on and on and on, right? So what was left over, that's called brick and mortar. We don't have that in this business. This business, my business does over $1 million a month, not a year. And it just cost me $200 a month to operate. And actually, I can mitigate that down to 40. Now, Dr. Browning, if your balance sheet every month with your practice under fixed cost said 200, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
That's not so hot.
Folks, it's incredible. So, you know, that's this business. So what I saw was low barrier entry. I saw low, you know, costs of doing business. You can make money weekly and you can make money monthly. And I'll just close with this, okay? I was a personal trainer for 30 plus years. If I trained Dr. Browning in the gym this morning, I am now unemployed until I train him again. If I went and saw him at 3 o'clock this afternoon, I was his appointment, he is now unemployed until his next patient. So both of us, what we've been doing our entire careers, have been trading time for money. Now, how we get paid today, that's called linear income, by the way, trading time for money, right? How both of us get paid with this business, if I went and saw him today at 3 o'clock, and I paid him whatever the copay is, whatever the charge was, he gets that check month after month after month, but he only sees me once. You see the difference between the two? If I trained him in the gym this morning, he gives me that check and I get another check next month, the following month. Now, I've been with this company 10 years, or nearly 10 years, a couple more months is 10 years. So I trained him nearly 10 years ago, and June 1st, I don't know how many months that is, close to 10 years, but that's over 100 months that I've been getting paid by Dr. Browning, but I only trained him once nearly 10 years ago. Now, what happens, folks, listen to me very carefully. That check never disappears. That check grows exponentially as your network grows. So that very first monthly check that I made in September of 2009, because I enrolled in August, I got paid that next month. I'm still getting paid that little bitty check 10 years later. That's why I was able to walk away from a 30 plus year career in 22 months. Always remember this. The richest people in the world build networks, right? Everyone else has a JOB. How's that linear income doing? All right. How's that working for you? If you knew the numbers of baby boomers in this country that are on pace to retire, would blow your ever-loving mind, because that number is so small, we don't even talk about it, because it's reality hearing us right square between the eyeballs. Now, Dr. Browning hasn't been doing this business very long. He's doing it on a part-time basis right now, and he's what's called a Premier Pro 5. His business does $20,000 a month in revenue. He has $250,000 a year business part-time. That, folks, listen to me, that is a secondary source of income. That's extra money. And at Pro 5, an extra would an extra $2,500 a month help you? Extra. Okay. Look at these numbers. Look what you need. I mean, an extra $500 a month in this country would help everybody, right? So look at these numbers right here. And when you get to the elite ranks, and Dr. Browning's pushing Pro 6 right now, but when he gets to the elite ranks, I have over 100,000 people in my group, and his group is involved in that, but he will get paid on all 100,000 of my people. He will also be paid on the entire company. It's called worldwide revenues. So when you hit the elite ranks, you get a piece of the company. Our profits better than wages. Do you see where I'm going with this? So you can look at the average incomes, folks. I've been a Master Pro 10 now since May of 2014. Look at the average incomes, okay? So what I want all of you to do is get with the person who invited you, and from Dr. Browning and from myself, thank them, because it's apparent that you have the right list of ingredients. You have that skill set that we're looking for right now to help everyone that you love and care for know the difference between direct and indirect. One and done, or 1,000,000 to 1 per second, okay? So thank them. Now, for those of you that the business is not for you, but you heard Dr. Browning talk, and if the doctor says you want to be healthier, get on these 2 products, these 2 activators, get with that person and say, how can I get those 2 products? And by the way, what other products do you have? Because folks, we got incredible products that have NRF2 activation as well. But if you're like me and you saw that business opportunity, get yourself a LifeVantage ID number tonight. Pick one of those pack. Get in where you fit in. And then get on this webinar next Monday night with 3 to 5 of your friends. And they don't have to be in your city. They can be in 21 countries, or actually 16 countries, because 5 of them they can only become consumers. And we can help you build your business. Each week I have extraordinary people that do extraordinary things, in their markets. Each week I have a doctor that has a specialty in certain arenas that I like to bring on to get their perspective. So with that said, Dr. Browning, thank you so much for being my guest tonight. You did a terrific, excellent job explaining the difference between NRF2 and NRF1. Really appreciate it. We got to tee it up sometime, okay?
We'll do that.
Awesome. Folks, thank you. Thank you. Folks, thank you so much for being on tonight. We will see you back next Monday night, same ID number at 9 p.m. Everyone have a great evening. Take care.